Hey everybody, Aaron from Warmoth here, and today I am talking about bursts. Here at Warmoth we do a ton of burst finishes. Off the top of my head, I would guess probably 15 or so of what I would call standard bursts, and then another 10 maybe metallic bursts, which are a lot of the standard burst colors in a metallic version. And then when you get into dye finishes, we probably have another 20 that are either bursted normally or can be bursted depending on how you handle the back finish coming around to the top. So I'm not going to cover all of those today. There's just too many. I'm going to focus on what I would consider the more traditional bursts. But first off, it's important to say that by its very nature, and the keyword being nature here, burst finishes are going to vary. So I guess you could say that by its very nature, nature varies. I just made that up right now. Copyright Aaron Cheney 2020, all rights reserved. Sorry, that's just my songwriter coming out in me, I guess. But anyway, the color of a burst finish is going to vary depending on the color of the wood underneath it. And I'm not just talking about the difference between like a piece of mahogany and a piece of alder and a piece of swamp ash. I'm talking about like the difference between one piece of swamp ash and another piece of swamp ash. Or like one piece of flame maple and another piece of flame maple. Because, you know, like everybody has this idyllic idea of what a piece of flame maple looks like. But the truth is, maple comes in lots of different colors, and it comes in lots of different grain patterns that accept dyes and finishes differently. And so you can use the same recipe on the same species of wood, and it's going to end up looking a little different based on what the wood underneath it decides. So we need to acknowledge that right out of the gate, that what you see here, you know, might look a little different on a different piece of wood. Another thing that we need to acknowledge is that there is no codified industry standard for color names or color recipes. So you might look at another manufacturer and see names like iced tea burst or sienna burst or lemon burst, and it's a different name for the exact same color. Or you might look at another manufacturer and see the same name as what Warmoth uses, but they have a different recipe for their finish. So obviously, I'm going to talk today about Warmoth's color names and color recipes. And I want to start out with what I consider kind of the archetype of bursts, and that is this. A lot of people just call this sunburst, but Warmoth calls this black, red, yellow burst, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's black on the edges and then has a layer of red and then yellow in the center. And you can compare that to this body. This we call black, brown, yellow burst. And again, the name is self-explanatory. Instead of having that transitional ring of red, it's brown on this body. So it goes black, brown, yellow. And then we go to a two-color burst. And the name for this one is, as you may have guessed, black, yellow burst. It doesn't have that intermediary color there. It just goes from black to yellow. This is not my favorite color, but a lot of people really like it because it's very vintagey, but it's not my bag for some reason. However, this two-color burst is probably my favorite burst of them all. This is tobacco burst, and tobacco burst goes from brown on the edges to yellow in the middle. And it never gets to black on the outside. It ends at brown, which is kind of the whole shtick of tobacco burst, is that it ends in brown. So anyway, I am totally team tobacco burst. And next up are a couple more two-color bursts that a lot of people have a hard time telling apart. This is cherry burst, and it goes from red on the edge to yellow in the center. And this is what we call tequila sunrise burst, and it goes from orange on the edge to yellow in the center. And then we have honey burst, which goes from amber on the edge to yellow in the center. And don't worry, I'll put up a graphic at the end so you can see all these finishes next to each other. And I'm going to finish off with another pair that we get asked about quite often. This is black burst, which is black on the edges to transparent black in the center. And this is black to clear burst, which is black on the edge and then goes to clear in the center. And in these two examples, you can see them, you can tell them apart pretty easily. But again, that can change depending on the color of the wood in the center. This one has alder in the center, so it's pretty light, and you can see that. But if this were a darker wood, it doesn't get quite so light in the middle, and it's not as easy to tell them apart. And here's a graphic so that you can see all these bursts side by side and compare them. And I would like to hear from you. Are you team tobacco burst like I am, or are you team black, red, yellow burst? What's your favorite burst? I would really like to know. And I know that there are a lot of bursts, like I said before, that I didn't cover in this video. I'll try to get to them in a different video. But for now, that is all of Warmoth's, what I would call traditional bursts. If you have any more questions, make sure and check out our website or give our customer service reps a call. And until next time, keep on picking.